Ukraine has retreated from most of the Kursk region, but Ukrainian forces remain very active there, carrying out constant air, artillery, and drone strikes on Russian forces, as well as raids into enemy territory. Now, 14 Russians were captured in the Kursk region. Special Forces unit strikes deep. Ukraine's Special Forces captured 14 Russian troops in Kursk region, including 3 officers. After multiple firefights, they surrendered. Additionally, around 30 Russians were eliminated. Over the past few days, Ukraine's Special Operations Forces have captured 14 Russian military personnel, including 3 officers, during missions carried out in Russia's Kursk region. This was reported by the Special Operations Forces via Facebook, as cited by Ukrinform. According to the statement, Ukrainian fighters conducted a series of special operations in the region. During several firefights with enemy troops, the Ukrainian forces compelled Russian soldiers to surrender. Thanks to well-planned and coordinated actions, Ukrainian defenders also eliminated around 30 enemy combatants during the operations. There were no losses on the Ukrainian side. The missions were accomplished. All captured enemy personnel are currently providing testimony, the statement reads. In late March, Special Forces fighters captured 2 Russian soldiers during a mission in Kursk region. There are no enemy warships currently present in the Sea of Azov or Black Sea. However, in the Mediterranean Sea, the Russian Navy continues to maintain 3 vessels equipped with Caliber cruise missiles, with a total salvo capacity of up to 26 missiles. This was reported by Ukrinform, citing operational information from the Ukrainian Navy. Additionally, according to the Ukrainian Navy, throughout the past day, the following ship movements through the Kerch Strait were recorded in Russia's interest. 3 vessels moved into the Black Sea, 2 of which continued toward the Bosphorus Strait. 8 vessels moved into the Sea of Azov, 3 of which entered from the Bosphorus. As Ukrinform previously reported, the remnants of the Russian fleet in Crimea are either not combat-ready or undergoing repairs. Post-war Ukraine may include Franco-British troops garrisoning western Ukraine, while Russian forces remain in control of the territory they occupy in eastern and southern Ukraine, U.S. Special Envoy Keith Kellogg said in an interview with The Times. The post-war settlement proposal outlined by Kellogg envisages Ukrainian troops maintaining sole control of the swaths of the country between the 2 foreign contingents, and a demilitarized zone around the current front line. Kellogg suggested that Western military presence to the west of the Dnipro River would not provoke Moscow. His proposals imply that Ukraine may have to cede some of its eastern territories currently occupied by Russia. You can do as was done in Berlin after World War II, when you had a Russian zone, a French zone, a British zone, and an American zone, he said. He then clarified that the United States would not deploy any ground troops in this arrangement. Kellogg also proposed an 18-mile-wide demilitarized zone along the current line of contact in eastern Ukraine. The Times noted that Kellogg's remarks provide one of the clearest glimpses into U.S. President Trump's vision for Ukraine's future among those involved in ceasefire planning. It remains unclear if the untied states would pressure Kyiv to cede additional territory to Russia, beyond what Moscow's troops currently occupy. Britain is considering deploying troops to Ukraine for 5 years under plans being discussed by allies, the Telegraph can disclose. Military chiefs want the deployment to help train and reconstitute the Ukrainian army to prevent Vladimir Putin from mounting another invasion. A scheme for a phased withdrawal was raised in the discussions being led by Britain and France over a coalition of the willing to uphold any post-conflict peace agreement. Under the plan, one of a number of options on the table, a European-led force would be dispatched to Ukraine to initially deter Russia from breaching any settlement and to offer Kyiv's men some much-needed respite. French military planners have argued that it is highly unlikely Putin would sanction another attack with Western forces inside Ukraine when his troops are only capable of seizing small amounts of territory, the Telegraph understands. Under the plan, the Franco-British-led Reassurance Force would also offer to help protect Ukraine's skies and seas. But the main aim of the deployment would be to immediately start helping to train and rebuild Ukraine's armed forces to deter another Russian attack. They would later withdraw in stages with final troops to leave around the 5-year mark, the Telegraph understands. It would put the UK, France, and their Western allies in a race to rebuild and bolster Ukraine's military before Moscow is once again ready to wage full-scale war. British, Danish, and German intelligence chiefs believe Putin could be ready in as little as 5 years. After co-chairing a meeting of 30 nations, John Healey, the defense secretary, said he wouldn't reveal details of the plans being discussed because it simply makes Putin wiser. Russia. Oman riot police is beating. Our friend? That's our friend. Putin's Gestapo raided the Mono nightclub in Moscow to collect cannon fodder for the invasion of Ukraine under the guise of combating LGBT propaganda. Lots of people are taken away. German historian and military expert Sönke Neitzel. Nobody really knows what Putin wants and does. Nobody can really foresee the future, not the intelligence services or the heads of state. Nor can I do that. But there are possible scenarios.
Mr. Neitzel, you've already become infamous here in Germany for saying that you expect this coming summer to be the last one in peace. Are you serious, and what exactly do you mean by that?
Well, I am serious, but I didn't say that this is definitely the last summer in peace. I said this is a possible scenario. Nobody really knows what Putin wants and does. Nobody can really foresee the future, not the intelligence services or the heads of states. No, I can do that. But there are possible scenarios. Possibly a peace treaty, a negative peace treaty in Ukraine, which frees Putin with his forces to do other things. And we have the big maneuvers, the Zabat maneuvers, coming up in Belarus in autumn. The background of this, quote is that my friends in Lithuania and the Baltic states are very, very worried about this maneuver, because we've seen that 2021, the pretext of the war, of the full invasion of Ukraine, was a maneuver. So I'm not saying this is definitely going to happen, but I say this is a possible scenario, so we should speed up. And all the debates about Russia is maybe ready for an attack against NATO in 2029, it's a bit of an artificial debate, so you can't foresee that. So, and Putin, if he has these plans, possibly doesn't wait until NATO is ready.
How much of a rationale do you see underpinning Putin's actions right now?
I mean, some people say Putin is mad, and I think this is not a category which is very useful. I think he has his own rationale. And that makes it for us so difficult, because we are following a different grammar, if you want. So international law, you can't violate borders, etc., etc., etc. And Putin has a different rationale. And from his viewpoint, obviously, a country such as Ukraine becoming more and more part of the West, developing democracy, etc., is a danger for its internal order. In my reading, what the war is about. It's not only about the Donbass or Ukraine, it's a clash of the West and Russia.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. He's doing the job every day.